Welcome to Inspirational Talks with Laura Simmons and friends. Today I have with me Margaret Green, the
Hello, how y'all
dancing
doing?
machine. hello. And of course, you guys know I'm Laura Simmons. Guys, so how are you doing today, Margaret?
I'm doing good, doing good. Just waiting for this weather to pass.
Yeah.
It's a little bit
Yes,
of
it
rain, but
started
that's all right.
snowing a little bit here today. So, yeah, but as far as that, everything is cool.
Yeah, everything's good.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. So, what's your gold nugget for today, Mama?
Well, my gold nuggets for today is something I saw on the news today, which reiterates what I was talking about previously concerning mortgage versus renter. They're saying that there's an increase of people becoming homeless because their landlords are increasing their rent, which making it impossible and almost harder for people to pay their rent.
Wow.
So it goes back to what I was saying, how you how it's better to have your own house that you're buying, that in case you get into a situation, your mortgage company will be more inclined to help you keep your home, and either even in some cases reduce your mortgage payment somehow, or put, if you have to delay payments for a few months, put your payments on the back of the mortgage. Where your landlord, they're not obligated to do anything, especially if your lease is up. If your
Hmm.
lease is up and you're on a month to month, they don't have to renew your lease, and they can go up on the rent. And if they do month to month, they can also increase whatever they requiring you to pay month to month. So because you're not on an actual lease. So that's why I say it's better for you to consider buying. I know maybe some people might say, well, you said it's easier said than done. No, if you think about the process of purchasing versus the process of possibly being put out of a residence that you've been paying rent to, all because the rent went up, but you can still maintain a certain payment, then why wouldn't you try to buy your own home? Tax time come around every year. Some people get very good tax returns. Take your tax return and make it a part of your down payment. I mean, instead of going on a big shopping spree on stuff that you probably won't even remember later on in the year, take that money and put it on a down payment for your home, because usually 3.5% for the FHA is all they require for you to purchase a home through the FHA program. Conventional, they require 20%. So sometimes people put a little bit more, a little bit less, sometimes people put more. And right now a lot of them are doing cash buying. That's because some states, you can sell a property for a whole lot more and go to another state and you buy one a lot less. So it's a lot of cash buying going on out here too. So it just goes back to what I was saying before. It's better to try to at least try to see where you would fit in on buying your own home, looking at a payment and how much you can afford based on what you paying for rent, and what you and budget that accordingly, versus trying to stay renting and then run the risk of having to either be put out, or your rent going up almost equal to or more than a mortgage. So that's my gold nugget for the day. Think about it, pray about it, and then make your steps towards being a homeowner.
Yeah, that's good advice. Very good advice. I was just talking to somebody about money. Period. I have a book out. It's called "Want to Get Out of Debt Fast." This is my
Mm-hmm.
book. And in that book, I talk to people about money all the time. Okay. So what I wanted, I just recently I did an interview yesterday and I was explaining to the guy, about how important it is for you to put yourself on a budget. That stuff
Mm-hmm.
is very important. It is important to when people get into debt, a lot of times they don't know the reason why they got in debt to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the main thing you need to know, you need to figure out how did you get into that debt. You
Mm-hmm.
got to find the root of the cause of being in debt over your head. And
Mm-hmm.
once you find the root of it, then you got to make it to yourself. You got to say to yourself, this is something I want to do. I want to get out of debt. So
Mm-hmm.
once you say and you set your goal to be out of debt, then and only then will you get yourself out of debt. But if you just do it because somebody told you so, then a lot of times what happens is we don't follow through with trying
You
to get
won't
out of
focus
debt.
on it.
No, because okay. So you, in my case, I'm gonna tell you. It was a little story in my book. It tells you about I talk about when I was in debt. Okay, so I was so angry with my husband because I felt that it was his job to pay off my debt that I had ran up. And it's
Mm-hmm.
not his responsibility.
Right.
Even as a mate, it's still not his job to pay that debt off.
Right.
So I had to regroup myself because I was angry with him because I had ran all my credit cards up. And so
Mm-hmm.
what I had to do was I had to figure out, first of all, the first thing I had to figure out is I had to figure out, where did this start? How did
Mm-hmm.
I get to this place? Okay, so the when I realized that it was because the loss of my mom, when I lost her, I felt like something inside me left too. And I
Mm-hmm.
started shopping. I thought that was the answer. And that's
Yeah.
what I had to realize. So once I figured out what the
Because some
root
people
of,
think it's therapy.
yeah, they think it's therapy.
It
That's what
is.
I heard people say, that
Mm-hmm.
shopping is therapy. But when you look back on you're gonna be crying because of the fact that you got all this debt.
Yeah, because all them bills start coming in.
Yes, and it started coming in when I started seeing them credit cards going up, 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 and it was like, oh my goodness. So how do I get out of this mess?
And I know what
You
you
know?
mean, because I did that too.
Yeah. And I
I,
remember going to work every day, and I was disappointed in, because when I got paid, it was like, okay, I don't I had $5 left on my check. So I was
oh Lord.
basically working to pay bills.
Mm-hmm.
There were times where I had to, I felt so bad because I had to ask him for gas money because I was so in debt over my head. And it was just crazy because, a lot of times we don't think about that kind of stuff.
Mm-mm.
We don't even stop to think about that. We think that it's okay, okay, so I got a little debt here and I could buy me
And I
this
just
because
pay
I
the
got this
minimum.
credit card. Right. I got this credit card. You go into restaurants with your buddies. A lot of times
Mm-hmm.
what happens is some of
Trying to
us go, oh,
front.
just give me the money. Give me the money.
Yeah.
I'm going to
Give me
put
the
it on my
bill.
card, or, I'll just put it on my card. But you're not gonna take this money that they give you to pay for the bill to put it towards your credit card bill. A lot of times what we do is, oh, there's some extra money I got in my pocket now, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And that was
It's not.
basically right. That was
Mm-hmm.
basically what I was dealing with. I was dealing with the fact that I was actually living beyond my means, as they say.
Mm-hmm.
I was living beyond my means.
Yeah.
And
And
I was,
it'll take you there real fast.
yeah. And what I had to realize was that, okay, so I can't, I'm not gonna be able to, I had to make a decision. That's what it was. I had to make a
Mm-hmm.
decision because I had to start saying that, okay, I can't go to this party to this person's birthday party because I'm not gonna be able to buy them no gift. Or I can't go out to dinner with y'all today because I don't have any money. I had to say that. But and I'm gonna tell you, a lot of times what happened to a lot of us is when we are so worried about what people are gonna say. So
Mm-hmm.
because we're so worried about what people are gonna say, we won't face the truth that, hey,
Mm-hmm.
I can't afford this,
Yeah.
and that's what happens to a lot of us.
Yeah. A lot of times you think that well, if I tell them I can't pay for this, they're gonna say, well, what you do with your money, or you broke. That's beside the point. The point is, I'm on the budget and I'm not spending beyond what I said I'm gonna spend. Simple as that. And that the thing about it is sometimes people have a tendency to want to keep up with the Joneses, and the thing about it is the Joneses is already in debt. And they swim in themselves. So when you're trying to keep up with them, they saying, well, why are you trying to keep up with me? I'm in debt too. So
Yeah.
so it's like eventually you'll start realizing, okay, if I don't put the brakes on my spending, then I'm going to be in debt to the point where I can't even function because every penny I get going into the bills,
Yeah.
And so I know how that is because I did that one time with a credit card. I had worked at this store briefly, and of course you get a discount. So that discount was so enticing. So
Hmm.
before I knew it, I had ran my credit card, my department store credit card up, and I think it ran it up pretty good. And I said to myself, you said you wasn't gonna run that doggone credit up past $300, and I did it anyway. So when I
Hmm.
had the opportunity to get that joker paid off, I paid it off, and then I told him, I said, don't increase my credit limit no more.
Yeah.
I said because what they were doing is every time you charged and you paid on it, they was like,
They,
oh, you're a good risk, so they
yeah.
increase the credit. And a lot of times people don't think, they be like, oh, see, I got good because I got the black card, I got the gold card, I got this and this now, I got
Hmm.
platinum, yeah, that's all fine and good, but if you ain't on zero, that's not good. If your
Yeah.
if your balance is not zero and you don't owe nobody nothing, it's not good because that means you still paying every month either the minimum or just a little over the minimum,
Yeah.
and you don't never get out because the way they have the bills now, they show you how much the minimum would cost you to pay it off. And it says 30 years paying the
Hmm.
minimum on most credit cards. It takes you 30 years to pay it off, and they'll show you how much if you paid $200 or $100 more on the payment, how you can pay it off in 3 to 5 years. And I'm like, yeah, that's what most people need to do. But a lot of times they're not going to do it. They'll say, well, my friend, she got it like that. Yeah, your friend might have a few, her pockets might be a little bit deeper than yours. So why you want to compete with her? Just go ahead
Yeah.
and let her pay for it. She want to
Yeah.
pay for it, let her pay for it. I won't be
Yeah.
ashamed.
Yeah, exactly.
Ooh.
I had to learn that, but it took a little while for me to get to that point though,
Mhm.
because I was the same way. It was like, man, I'm like, okay, so how we gonna do this? I'm I would even get so mad at my husband. I'd be like, you bogus for not even helping me and this and that. But then I started thinking to myself, I said, Dad, you know what, why am I getting angry with him? It's not his fault, it's my own fault. I did this, because I would go to the store. I would literally go into the store and I would buy stuff. I can't even begin to tell you what I brought.
Mhm.
I can't even begin to tell you that because I don't even know. I
Yeah.
just know that I was wasting money on stuff.
Yeah. Because as a matter of fact, you start building, you start stacking. Be like, dang, when did I buy this?
Yeah, exactly. And that was what my problem was. It was like, okay, so I go to the store, instead of buying one so and so and so, I'm buying three of them because I got this credit card and I can use it. And that was
Mhm.
what happened. And before you know it, I was overwhelmed because I had so much debt that I was like going to work just to be working. I
Mhm.
was working to pay bills. I wasn't working because okay, I could save some money. I didn't have any money to save. When it was all done, all said and done, I had $5 to my name every pay period. And it
That
was like, okay,
wow.
so I can't buy no lunch. I'm gonna have to make sure I bag it. And that's what and after a while, I just got mad and I was angry with myself. And I started saying, you know what? We're gonna do something about this. I'm tired of not having no money. I'm tired of
Mhm.
being broke. So as I was going through my journey, I started writing it out of what I was dealing with. I started
Mhm.
writing out how I got through getting out of debt. And I started just writing it out.
Yeah, that's the thing. Because the worst thing is if you get in debt and say you change jobs and you're making more money. Well, you won't even see the difference of the income because you just chewing it up and trying to get out of debt because you're thinking, oh God, I got this nice raise and not this new job got making more money. Well, you ain't gonna see it because you using it paying
And
bills.
bills, yep.
So you
And
can't even save no money. That's how people end up with not having an emergency fund for unexpected expenses because they've been spending it on everything else except putting it up. And
mm-hmm.
so it's like And the worst thing is, I remember seeing something happen one time. It's a long time ago when I worked where one of the places I used to work, and when the stock market was going crazy and the housing market crashed, it was a developer that I knew, nice, really nice guy. Well, he got to the point where I guess because the way the market did, he lost a lot of money. He
Yeah.
committed suicide. He jumped off the bridge
Wow.
because
But
he could. And I said that is bad when you get to that
the
point where
point, yeah.
you rather kill yourself than and he left behind kids and a wife.
Yeah, it's depressing. You get
Yeah.
depressed. I was depressed. I cried many days because I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna get myself out of this hole. I don't know. Good evening. Good evening. I don't know who this is, but they say good evening, ladies. Good
Good
evening.
evening.
But yeah, I had to
It's
learn. But
important.
it's very important. I meant to mention also that did you know that the star of Good Times, Johnny Brown, passed away?
Yeah, I
Remember
heard
Mr.
about that.
Bookman?
They said,
And we watch, my daughter and I watch Good Times all day, every day,
yeah.
constantly. We it's like, and we sit up there and watch it like we ain't seen it. We ain't ever seen it before.
Yeah, that's true. Bookman, he was always funny though. He used to
Yeah.
crack me up, especially when he was talking about putting them out.
Oh, that's Frederick Beatty. Hey, Frederick.
Hey,
Thank you
Frederick.
for tuning
Hey,
in.
Darren.
How you doing? Wonderful.
Yeah, when I saw that, they said that they had mentioned that Bernadette Stannis had commented about his death and how, and about him.
Her
And
and Janet Jackson both.
yeah, and so I said yeah, I said but he lived a long life. He was 84.
Yeah,
I said
yeah.
that's a blessing.
Yeah, that
you
is.
know
And
I
did
said
you hear about that Black Panther director who got
yeah, I saw it
off
on the
the
news. I
man, that
was
is
like,
so bogus. But you know what? I'm gonna tell you my experience with Bank of America. That's the reason why I don't do business with Bank of America, because they are racist.
yeah, I've heard them do
Seriously.
that more than once, and
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't just him, and so he as a matter of fact, what got me is how you going to mistake him for a bank robber, and he gave you his ID along with his
With his
bank
big
slip,
thing.
just
Yep.
asking you to be discreet about the $12,000 he was getting out because he didn't want to draw any attention to himself
Yep.
while you was
Somebody
counting
follow
his
him out.
money and
Right.
following him out of the store, out of the
Yeah, out
bank.
of bank. Yeah.
It's like, I mean, and that's the thing. What I couldn't understand when I'm like, how you gonna mistake him? I said a bank robber don't give you his ID, stupid.
Stupid.
I'm like,
No,
so
he done. He gonna give you
so
a
I'm like,
note, but he not gonna give you his identification where you can come to his
no.
house and get him.
And then on top of that, he gave you his bank ID, his bank card, and his ID and a bank slip. So how you gonna think he was robbing the bank? I'm like,
Yep.
I said, you know what? She needed to be fired. I don't wish nobody bad
Sorry,
on
y'all.
their job. But if you can't understand the difference between somebody who is an actual patron of your bank and they have actual information, you pull it up on the computer, and yet you're going to sit there and assume he's trying to rob the bank. I said, there's something wrong with that. I said, black people, everybody that come in there that look like us should not always have to be under a scrutiny because, and that just doesn't make sense to me. And even the police officers was apologizing, but one thing got my attention is one of the police officers was getting ready to pull his gun. He had to put his gun back in the holster. I'm like, he was standing right behind the guy. He was standing right behind him, and I think he had already handcuffed him. So I'm like, so why would you need to have your gun pulled in the first place? He didn't have no gun on him. Right. I could see if he had a gun. He didn't have no gun because it took him totally by surprise.
I'm sure it did. He a big director. He's a director of a big top
right.
What is a blockbuster
and working
movie.
on a part two of his movie.
And
like,
you
come on now. I said,
but you hear what Serena Williams said. She said that it doesn't matter, how far we get. They still gonna knock us back.
Yeah, because I think he's a rapper called Little Baby or Baby something. Said he went to the bank and he went to get $100,000 out. They gave him 30,000, and he asked them. He said, "No, I asked for 100,000." They told him that's all we got right now. He said, No, it can't be. That's all y'all got. And he's like, he was so mad because they only gave him 30,000 of the 100,000 he asked for. I'm like, well, if that's all they gave you, you need to make sure that your receipt reflect what they actually gave you. Because if they didn't, if it didn't reflect, if it says 100,000 and they gave you 30, somebody got $70,000 that they pocketed in their own bank, in their own account. And I said because that doesn't make sense. Why would you tell him you only can give me 30 of the 100 I asked for? Like, man, no.
No. That happened to me. I went to the cash station machine though. I had went to the cash station machine. I was withdrawing some money, and I didn't know that if the this was like a long time ago when the kids was in daycare and stuff, and I didn't know that if the money doesn't come out right then and there, sometime it'll come out. If you just stand there a little longer, it'll come out a little bit later. Well, the bank wanted to give me all kinds of hell about getting my money back. So they had to go back, look at the camera to see that I didn't actually get the money. Then they still was giving
somebody else got it.
Yeah, somebody else got the money. Somebody else said got the money. I had to prove who I was, I had to show identification to them.
Wow.
They gave me that's why I don't do business now with Bank of America. That's one of the reasons why, because it was Bank of America. And they took me through the
They was another one
ringers.
who was discriminating against black people too.
Yeah, they took
Especially
me
with the
through the
mortgage
ringers
industry.
with that. They kept telling me, they was telling me that that they couldn't find, they didn't see the money in the bank, in the cash station machine anymore, and all this other stuff. They was just giving me the business. And so then I just finally I got to one lady, and that one lady was the one who helped me get my money. She said, I'm gonna get it back to you today. And she was the one who put my money back into my account. But it took a long time. I'm like, look, I ain't got it like that. I told them, I said, I ain't got it like that. I'm a mom with 2 children, 2 small children. I'm trying to buy Similac milk. And I was like, I said, then I got bills I got to pay. I don't have money to just give away, because it was like $500.
Wow. Somebody got, whoo, man, I knew that was hurting.
Yeah. It hurt so bad. I was so upset when that stuff happened. I called them people every single day. And this is so important for anybody. When you run into any kind of problem like that, it's always important to write notes of who you spoke with, what date you
Troy tell me
spoke
that
with
all the
them,
time.
what time you spoke with that person. That's what I did. And lucky I did it that way. I was able to tell them who I spoke with, what day I spoke with that person, what time. And that's how I was able to get my money back. But and the picture, I had to show my ID, I had to go back and give them my identification to prove that I was who I said I was, and all that. It was just crazy. It was some crazy stuff. I was mad. I was so angry because I was like, I should not have to go through all of this just to get my money back. Something that belonged to me, you know. But it happens. It happens all the time. It happens to not just me. It happens to those that have money, real money, you know. I was like, I said, look, I ain't got no real money, people. Give me my daggone money back.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's unfortunate that people assume that you don't need their that as if you got deep pockets and you can just pull it out any given time. And I'm like, you looking at my account, so how you gonna think I got a whole bunch of money?
Yeah, exactly.
It's like
You see,
duh.
I got $2.02 left.
Like, man, look at here. It's
And
like,
I'm rubbing them together, wishing for more. You know,
he's like, don't be playing with me. He's like, give me my money. Oh, I saw a video on Facebook where this lady, she was pissed. I don't know what bank it was. It looked like a Navy Federal. It really did, but I don't know which one it was, but it because the way the lobby looked at. Well, this girl was mad because what happened is she was trying to cash her check at the bank. Well, they took her check and told her that her check they was not going to cash her check. They was going to keep her check for bank charges, overdraft charges on her account. Girlfriend climbed up on the counter and up over the glass. She
Sound like
went.
something I'll do.
The lady on the other side was going, no, ma'am, ma'am, no, ma'am. She said, she said, you not finna take my money. You not finna take my check. She was over the side where the tellers was. She got her money, I her check, and she left. And them people were looking at her. We're gonna call security. We're gonna have to call the police. She said, I don't care, but you gonna give me my money. You gonna give me my check because you ain't finna take my money. I worked too hard for my money. Girl, that boy, and people, I mean, the people were just looking like that. I couldn't believe that girl. She went that she looked she was pretty, Buffy. Like I said, man, I would just say, hey, go ahead. I am gonna fight you because she climbed over the thing. That glass didn't stop her. She didn't care. She went over and climbed. She said, "You gonna give me my money?" And she got it, and when she came out through the side door. She came bust through that side door.
Sound like some
out the bank.
That's funny because that sounds like some craziness I do. That sounds just like my kids be talking about me all the time. They be like, "Mom, calm down," because you be going off, and I do. I will fly off the handle in a minute. Just get me upset about something. I ask you a question about something, and you give me a little attitude. I will fly off the handle. I do have like a short temper. I have zero tolerance for BS. That's just it. I have zero tolerance for it. Now I'll laugh all day with you and joke with you and stuff like that. But when you start playing with my money and stuff, now we got a problem. And you start playing with my kids.
My money now.
Yeah, you do something wrong to my kids. My kids, I'm like that little angry duck. When you mess with one of my babies, then we got problems. We're gonna have problems.
Yes, I was like, when I saw that video, I said, but I bet you that she would think twice about that. It looked like it looked like the customer was black, and it looked like one of the tellers was black, and it was a guy and a girl teller. And she went over that thing she climbed over that like she was climbing over a wall. She just went straight over. I said, but they probably want to put the glass all the way up this time to the ceiling after her.
But do you know that if you ever go into places like that, do you notice that it always be us that give each other the hardest time?
All the time.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, that's not only in the growth in the stores, but that's how it is in employment. We are the worst. We give each other the worst time when we are employed. When we are
in a position
supervisors. We give each other the hardest time. And I'm like, what? I'm like, what do you think this is? The movie Life, where you got to make sure you prove to boss that you can keep them in line. I'm like, come on now. It's like I said, it comes to a time when we have to be able to stand together. And as long as we keep on fighting each other, we'll never come together as a people.
Oh no, you won't.
Never.
You won't.
And the worst thing is some of the black women need to stop being so petty with each other, because we are our worst enemies amongst each other. When you see these shows with every time you see them sisters fighting against each other, and all of it is entertainment. I'm like, you know what? That's why we got the label of angry black women already, because we always at each other's throat, dogging each other out. I remember when I was watching the show, and these young ladies were business ladies, so they had a luncheon, and so one of the ladies, she had a little cheddar. They all had a little cheddar. So one of the ladies, she had a business selling hair. And the other lady, she was into real estate and different things. And so they're always at the luncheon. So she bought some of the hair. Apparently the hair wasn't the way she thought it was supposed to be. She talked about it was tangled and all this other stuff. So she told her friend before she got there, she said, well, while we there, when we get there, I'm going to mention to her about this supposed to be premium quality hair she's supposed to be selling. And here I am. I spent good money for this hair. And this is what I got. And so I'm like, now, why would she wait until you in front of all your other business, you're all business women? Why would you wait until that and do that? Why you just couldn't pull her to the side and say, I bought some hair from one of your machines or whatever. I bought some from your store or whatever. And I just wanted to bring it to your attention, and maybe we can rectify the issue. So, so I can, because I like the product. Just this one, I just got some bad hair. No,
Right.
she want to bring it up at the whole at the table of the
With
whole
all the
thing
other
in
ladies
front of
at
all
and
the other
stuff.
ladies and talking about and but mind you now, she had the hair in her head now. You got the
Oh
hair
wow.
on, but you got nerves to talk about how bad it is. And she said,
Wow.
"No, you mustn't get that from none of my machines." She said, "Yes, I did. This is this is supposed to be this is your stuff." And I was like, "Come on now." I said, "You know what?" I said, "Was it worth it? Was it worth it?" I'm like, I'm like, y'all both
Yeah.
trying to make y'all money, and now you want to try to kick her down while she trying to come up because hers was supposedly she's supposed to had one of the number one products for hair, and she actually was one of the ones who started the part of the hair vending or whatever. And so I said, I said that's the problem with us right now. We always got to come
Trying
at
to
each
hurt.
other the wrong way,
Yep. Try and hurt each other any way we possibly can. And that's
try
the
to cut
sad
you
part
down
about
every
it.
chance,
Yeah. And we
every
gotta do
chance.
better though. We have to. We have to do
Mm-hmm.
better. You know, it's just like support. You support people with their journeys and their agendas, what they're trying to do and stuff. And then when it comes to you getting support back, it's you don't get it.
Mm-mm.
You get the oh girl, I was so busy, or you get a bunch of bull crap is
I'm
basically what you get.
You're right, because I remember when I had opened up an ice cream shop a long time ago. It was an ice cream and sandwich shop, and mind you, now I did my market analysis. I already knew what I was doing. I already knew where I wanted to bring my prices in. So I went through the market analysis with the Subway, with the Blimpie, with all of them companies, different ones who sold sandwiches and ice cream and all that. So my price point was bring my price point in the middle. That way it's not too high, it's not too low, it's just right. So you can't say my sandwiches is higher than everybody else's. Tell me why is this customer coming down Monday? She goes, um, I'm gonna patronize you, but I gotta wait till I get paid, because I can't afford it right now. And I'm looking at her like, how is it that my sandwich is so expensive when my sandwiches are less than the other shops? I was so aggravated with that, and I was saying to myself, I don't care if you don't come back, because if that's the way you got to approach my business of automatically saying you can't afford my product,
Hmm.
I don't need your business,
Yeah.
because you automatically telling me that I'm not worth it,
Hmm. Yeah,
but
but
you
they,
want me to
but they can,
patronize you.
right? They could tell you about their product. They could tell you about stuff that they're doing, and they want you to support them. Then they get mad because you don't support them because of the fact that, hey, when was the last time you ever supported anybody? How
Mhm.
many times have you supported me? Because you could tell the people that support you. You can see it. You see it already, and it's like, oh man, but you want me to support you. You want me to um um talk
Patronize
about you,
you.
yeah, and talk about your product, and you want me to go and purchase your T-shirt or your whatever the case may be. When have you purchased one of mine? When have
Mhm.
I seen a picture of you sending to me telling me, hey, I brought one of your hats, or I brought one of your T-shirts, or I brought one of your books, you know
Mhm.
but they be the main ones that'll say nobody's supporting them, and it's like, okay, you want me to support you, but you don't want to support me. It's just like when what's her name came on our show. What's his name? I can't think of his name right now. Lafayette. When he
Mhm.
came on the show, what did he tell us? He told us that how they grow their how he grew his whatchamacallit, his
Podcast.
podcast was, he said that they shared each other's podcast. How many
Mhm.
of us do that?
Mm-mm.
You
Too
know,
busy trying to be
but
outdoing each other.
right, it's like a contest. We run guess what? It's so much room out here for everybody to
Everybody.
grow. It's so much room out here for everybody to make a little money off of it.
That's the
It's
same thing in the real estate business. You run across. That's why you run across those who are willing to help you get to meet your goal and help you even exceed it. And but then you run across those who all they want to do is see how much they can take from you, not
Mhm.
help you, but take from you. And you'd be
Yeah.
like, well, wait a minute. I thought we all is in this together. So, I mean, millions of people on the earth. So I'm sure you can get your portion and I can get my portion, and we still won't have all of it. So,
Mhm.
why you had to come for mine,
Yeah.
So, and that's the way it is in anything, business, work.
Mhm.
It's like that in so many different spectrums. It's ridiculous. And
Mhm.
another thought I was going to mention also is why is it, and it's different from what what we are just talking about, but I wonder, why is it that employers are saying they need employees, but yet they're being difficult hiring people that may be a little bit
Mhm.
older than what they're looking for. And
Yeah.
then the young ones who are taking the jobs and keeping them, they're going and ghosting them and quitting.
Yeah.
And then you sit up there talking about you can't get good employees. Well, you've had somebody good. You had good people who may be a little bit seasoned,
Season.
but they're
Mhm.
gonna be at work and
Yeah.
they're gonna come to your job
Yeah.
and they ain't gonna give you all kind of excuses.
Mhm.
But you get these young ones, and I'm not saying all young people, because some young people have very good work ethics, but there are some who have been doing that, who you give that job to that person over me, and then all of a sudden they don't show up.
Yeah.
I had that happen to me one time with a job I had applied for, and it was just a little part-time, but the point was she had hired these other two people first.
Mhm.
Well, the other girl didn't never show up.
Mhm.
The guy showed up, but they ended up having to fire him because
Wow. He
because
was stealing, right?
no,
Um.
he told them that one day he was gonna come and one day he wasn't gonna come. But now,
Yeah.
mind you, now he was claiming that he wanted to work. But when she called him and asked him, can he come in that day or whatever, he was like, no, I got something else to do. And so when she finally hired me, and I was like, I said, well, why you took so long to bring me on? And they was like, well, we was just behind and everything. And I'm like, so what happened to such and such? Oh, we did hire him, but we had to fire that person. I
Oh
said,
wow.
and
Also
mind
now they
you,
gonna hire you because
exactly.
they need
You know,
somebody.
I'm saying now because we all interviewed at the same time. And
Mm.
that's why I thought I was being punked, to be honest with you, when I went to the
You
interview.
looking around like, okay, where the
because
camera? Where the
because
camera at?
I'm in my business attire, my black suit, my white shirt. I'm in my business attire, and these jokers come up in here with
Tore up
jeans,
jeans. Yeah.
torn jeans,
Mhm.
t-shirt, a jacket.
Mhm.
The other one had on khakis and a t-shirt, and I'm like,
Mhm.
you coming for an interview? And that's
Yeah.
why I thought I was
They
being
don't
punked.
dress like us no more. They don't dress like we
No,
used to when we would go to an interview and stuff. They said, remember they used to tell you always have a black suit, a
yeah,
blue
or
suit,
blue, yeah.
or a brown suit for an interview. Well, nowadays these they come in there any kind of way. I remember when my daughter was looking for her job and she had went for a job interview and she was dressed up. They looking. She said that the managers was looking her up and down, and so she didn't get the position. I'm gonna tell you why she didn't get the position. They went and looked her up on the internet and they seen that she was an author. So because she was an author, they figured she already had money. Yeah.
Wow.
So they didn't give her the position because of it, because they figured she had money already. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
and
I
see,
told her,
that's
I
the
said that was
thing.
what it was. They discriminated against you because of the fact that they seen that you was an author. And it's sad because it's a lot of employers do that. It's
Mhm.
you know,
And they study talking about
man,
they need
one
people.
day I'm gonna tell
They're
wait till I
hiring.
tell my story about how these employers are and stuff, and wait till I get to talking about mine, my experience and what I've learned and I've seen firsthand of how the employers are,
Yeah,
because some
because
of
they
them are
sit there and
it's
tell
so
you.
sad. They judge you according to because the way you look,
Mhm.
because of, oh well, she don't look like she need this job or whatever. Okay, you don't know people's
Exactly.
situation because they come to
I
work
mean,
on
just because I
time
look
every they
decent
come to your
and because
job
I
every
comb
day
my
and I
hair,
look decent. Exactly.
I
Doesn't
comb my
mean
hair.
that
I took a
I don't
shower and
need
I came
my
to my
job.
interview. Like, my
Yeah,
goodness, I'm getting beat. I'm
then you
getting,
discriminating because of their age and all that other stuff as well, and it's
yeah.
sad.
It's like I'm
It's
like,
a
and
lot
so
of
I
them out
see
there
it.
like that.
And that's why I tell young folks all the time, I said, don't take it for granted that because you can get a job right now, because after a certain age, they will start discriminating against you, and they'll try to do it
Mm-hmm.
without being obvious. I said, so if you
Yeah.
get a decent job and you can hold on to that job, you better do what you can do to hold on to it. Or if you're going to move, don't be so quick to move every year. You changing.
Changing jobs.
I said, because that
Right.
don't look good on a resume either. So but
No,
yeah,
it don't look
I
good
was.
when you get ready to buy property or something or a car.
No,
It
it
doesn't look
doesn't. It
good.
doesn't.
It don't.
I
Mm-mm.
don't, and that's
Yeah.
what, because I was talking to, I had applied for a job or something, and so they asked me, so what did I do and this and that, and they look at my resume and everything. My resume has a large range of different things that I've done, so
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure my skills are interchangeable. It wouldn't be
Mm-hmm.
that difficult for me to become a receptionist, be an administrator. I don't care what it is. It's not that much not difficult for me. I can be a building inspector if I need to be. I've worked in construction. So what I couldn't understand is, well, you might be you're a little overqualified. How are you gonna be overqualified? That's what
Yeah.
I don't understand either. They tell
Mm-hmm.
you got to get a job. I mean, they require you to get college degrees for some cases. People spend money going to college, getting these
Mm-hmm.
degrees, and then when they go for an interview, oh, you're overqualified. We need somebody that we can train. Well, you're gonna have
Yeah.
to train whoever you hire anyway. So what's the difference?
And hiring
That's
me and training
that's
me and
yeah,
right.
and it
Yeah.
don't make
And
sense. It's like, how
it's
you.
sad.
And that's why so many people are starting to start their own careers. They're starting to
Yeah.
start
They're
their
starting
own
their own
business, their
businesses.
own
Yeah.
hustle, and now these
Mm-hmm.
companies are suffering because of it. It's like
Mm-hmm.
you forced us into our own self, because remember, we were business people a long time ago, even when y'all burned our
Yeah.
stuff down.
Yeah.
So it's not like we don't know how to survive. We know how to survive. We know how to reinvent ourselves. It's just
Mm-hmm.
that when we try to give you an opportunity to hire us and use we use our abilities and our skills, you overlook us. And then when we do them well, then you want to come and bring us on. Once you see we're doing
Yep.
it with someone else, oh, I would love for you to come work for me. No, you had
Mm-hmm.
an
You come work
opportunity,
with
you
me.
blew it. You know,
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
say
it's just like my
jobs are just
friend.
like
One of my friends told me,
relationships.
yeah, it's so funny because one of my friends told me just recently we was having a conversation and a friend of mine told me, don't worry about it. They don't know what they missed out on. They
Hmm.
say they don't know what they missed out on yet, but they will soon find out. And that's what
Hmm.
they told me. They said, so don't stress yourself about it. And I was like,
Hmm.
well, I was a little disappointed and this and that. And it was like, well, you don't be disappointed. No, don't be disappointed, because they don't know what they had.
Hmm.
They had a
Hmm.
gem and they let it go.
Yeah. And
So,
that's why I always compare jobs with relationships.
hmm,
Jobs do the same thing relationships do. They dump on you until, in some relationships, they dump on you and they dump on you until you get tired. And then when you leave, then they start thinking and they get somebody else. And that
hmm,
person don't give them half the time nor the skill that you had. And then they trying to figure out,
yeah,
and then if they run into you again, what are you doing now? Well, that position is open again. If you would love to apply, we would love to have you come back. Man, bump you. You didn't
yeah,
do work. I mean, when I was there, so why would I want to come back now? You know,
yeah.
Same thing with a relationship. Why would you want to go back to somebody who dumped on you? Why?
Yeah,
And
and
then, and
that's
you
so
know,
funny because they say when you see people that you used to date a long time ago, and they say, well, you got to make sure you look good when you see that person. Why? I'm not trying to impress them first of all, but I do want you to know that I'm doing better without you.
right,
I do
right.
want you to know
And I
that.
think the reason why they say that is because they don't want you to look like you beat down, so they can say, "Well, I told him because I let her go, or because I let him go, he was gonna go down." Because
Hmm.
I had a guy tell me that one time when I was younger. Talking about I was the best boyfriend you ever had. I said, "Oh yeah, okay." That was funny.
Yeah.
And so, but they will tell you that. So the same thing with
Hmm.
some jobs, they make you think that you're not worthy. I listened to a preacher one time say that his employer told him he had to that she was letting him go, but she was firing him so he could pursue what God had called him to do. And
Mm-hmm.
he said at the time he couldn't understand. He knew what she meant, but he said at the time he was thinking about the fact he had a family to take care of. And he said, but he knew she meant well, because she told him, you can apply for unemployment and you can get so you'll be able to get your unemployment, and I'm going to give you a service. They gave him a severance package. But he said at the time he didn't, he wasn't thinking about all that. He was thinking about the fact that you firing me from this job. I got a
Yeah.
family to take care
Yeah.
of. But he said now he understands it now than it better than he did then. And I said, yeah, you're right. I said, because at the time you're looking at what you got to take care of. You ain't thinking about
Like, you know,
what
you
you may
ain't.
be coming into later on. I said, no. It's like, I
Yeah.
need my money, sucker.
But we have to learn to be patient. That's what it is.
Yeah.
One of the things we have to learn how to be patient and trust God, because the plan
Mm-hmm.
is he already got the plan in place. It's just that
Yep.
we have to be
Everything is
patient.
circled on
We
his
have to
calendar.
right. We have to be patient. We have to learn to trust him. We have to learn to say, well, you know what? This it didn't work out for me. So what? I
Mm-hmm.
know that God got me. And we got to stop depending on people and start
Mm-hmm.
trusting in him. Because
Yep.
that's one of the things that I've been learning on my journey. I'm learning that, I have to lean on him, and I can't lean on you, them,
Mm-hmm.
nobody. I gotta lean on him, and I gotta trust the process. I gotta trust the
Mm-hmm.
plan that he has for me. I have to trust it, because if not, I'm not gonna get to what he has for me, because I have to learn to trust him.
Yeah.
And
It's
that's
just like
that's what I'm learning.
it's just like what something Jessica said last week when she was on the show, and she said she was doing somebody's makeup at the place, one of the stores she was at, and it took that one person to recognize her gift,
Yeah.
and that one person to recognize what her value was, even when she didn't know it.
Yeah.
And that's what and so it goes back to what I heard TD Jakes say one time: all you need is that one person. That's all you
That's
need, is
right.
that one person to recognize your worth, your worth, and they build on your worth, because they know what you're worthy of. Even if you don't recognize it right away, you have an idea, but you dismiss it sometimes, because a lot of times we will
Mhm.
dismiss our own self-worth, because we're thinking, well, I'm being too arrogant, I'm being too self-centered. No,
Mhm.
you just know who you are,
Yeah.
and you don't have to walk around with a big old badge on your chest talking about, yeah, I know I'm this, I'm that. No, humble, like Mama used to say, a humble child will taste the grace. You humble enough, guess what? God will elevate you in his own time, and
Yeah.
he gonna bless you with the right person to come into your life, cross your path, and you like, man, because like the other gentleman that was on the show, he said the same thing. A friend of his reached out to him, and he said, he had never did
Oh,
acting
you
in his
talking about
life.
James? Yeah.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
never did acting. He said, he was like, so he said, I'm gonna ride it till the wheels fall off. He said, the opportunity presented itself and he went for it. So that's what I said.
Yeah.
Everything happens in the right time at the right season. If it's your season, you will get everything God has for you. If it's not your season, just hold on. Let the wind blow. Just hold on, because it's gonna sooner or later, it's gonna get calm, and everything's gonna come forward full circle, and you'll be like, "Dag, I'm glad I waited." It's like something one time
Mhm.
one of our elders at our church said one time. He said, "Every time you get upset and get upset about something that you didn't get that God had for you, or he said, when you do that, you get out of line." He said, "What happens? You go back, you get back in line, but you have to bury
And get
back at
back
the
to
end of the line.
get to
So
the
you
end of
got
the
to
line.
start
Yeah.
all over again." He says, so
Mhm.
the best thing to do is just wait your turn. Just because somebody else got something ahead of you, that means you done moved up a little bit further. So why you getting
Mhm.
upset about that person when all you did is move up? Because they got theirs.
Mhm.
Now it's time for you to get yours. You just keep
Yeah.
on waiting till you get to the front of the line. But he said, when you
Mhm.
act up and you get all up indignant, he said, you end up at the back of the line. You got to start all over again. he said,
Yeah.
he said,
You know it's
when you keep having to start over again, he said, you'll learn
Mhm.
to just be quiet and stand still and wait on God. I said,
Yeah.
he right.
You know what? That reminds me of a conversation that I had with with my sister-in-law, you know, and I'm truly gonna miss her because there are so many conversations her and I used to have about different things. And you know, she would give me her opinion about different things, and she would tell me about stuff I should do and stuff I you know, that you know the Lord is telling her about me and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So when when um when I heard that she was gone last Friday, that just tore me to pieces because that was like my buddy. That was like the
Mm-hmm.
person I talked to about anything and everything, and she never judged me, never judged
Mm-hmm.
me. And that's like that, you know. And I'm not a perfect person, you know. I'm not a
None
perfect
of us are.
person. I'm working on it. I'm
Mm-hmm.
working on trying to be a better person. I can never be perfect, but I'm working on trying to be a better person. And
Mm-hmm.
she was that person that was helping me get through it, you know, showing me stuff that I needed to do. And it's like I feel like a big part of me is gone now, you know, because, you know, when I lost my sister Jean, um, that was my person I leaned on and I talked to. And now that she's gone, that's a hard pill to swallow. So I can only imagine um
Mm-hmm.
what my brother is going through. I can only imagine. And
Mm-hmm.
I just send my condolences to him and her daughter and her grandbaby. And man, that's a hard pill. You know, that's a hard pill
Yeah,
to
it is.
swallow.
It is, and it seemed like
And I guess
what's taking out people lately is pneumonia. I got a phone call earlier
yeah,
today about somebody related to my husband um, that it had to be he went and took himself to the hospital because he
mhm,
wasn't feeling good. He thought he had pneumonia again. Well, they found out it was something else, so they had to
wow,
do emergency surgery. You know, and so
wow.
it's like
Well,
you just
prayers
don't
go up
know.
to
You
him
just
and
got to
his
be,
family. Yeah,
yeah. So it's like so we just praying that everything work out for his good and for God's glory. It's just that it's just so many people. And then I got another phone call that my nephew, his one of him and his wife's friend, young couple just like them, the wife died, and they said it was sudden because she was just having her last bout with chemo.
wow.
And when she had her last thing of chemo, and she was to the end of that, she died. And they said
Yeah,
it was a hard pill. I mean, I know it's a hard pill to swallow because you thinking, okay, we didn't got through all this, and now and then I said that's messed up because that was the same similar
yeah,
to what happened with my
we-
mother-in-law. She had just got through
yeah.
it,
Well, yeah. Well,
and
we
then
just have to pray
a week
for
later
those
it was over.
people and stuff. Yeah, we just have to pray for those people that have, you know, went on to be with the Lord. And one
Hmm.
thing I remember my sister telling me before she passed, she said, always look for a dime. She said, when you see a dime on the floor, that usually mean that person made it. Yeah.
Mm.
She said, if you start seeing dimes all the time, that mean that person has made
That's
it.
funny because I've
Yeah.
seen quite a few of them.
Yeah. And I
I'm
remember
always
when
picking
she
up dimes, and I
passed.
used to wonder why I said why I'm always finding
Yeah.
dimes. I found a dime the other
That's
day.
right. That's why, because she said that she told me, I remember when she told me that. And when she passed away, I remember seeing like a few weeks later, I kept finding dimes. They were all either in the house, on the floor, or on the street. I was finding dimes, and that's what it usually means. It means that your loved one has made it over to the other side. When you see
Hmm.
when you see dimes, dimes are on the
I never
ground
heard
and
of that one.
stuff, or yeah, it means that your loved one has made it to the other side. Yeah,
I remember one time I
but
was
yeah, it's
coming out of the store and I saw dollars just laying on the ground. It was like $2 or $3. I was like, what is this? I said, I picked it up and went and got my car. I
probably
don't know
blew out
where
of
it came
somebody's
from.
hand. Yeah, it probably blew out of somebody else's hand, and they probably was like, yeah, uh-huh.
Like, well, it blew right
Yeah,
by
it's
my car and
mine
it
now.
came in my pocket.
Yeah, it's madness.
Mm-hmm.
Man, suckers. Yeah, yeah, but yeah, so we just have to stay prayerful. We have to stay trust and believe that, the plan that God has for us all, and know that you know, your life isn't determined by what other people do or say about you anyway. Your life is
No.
determined by the Lord. He makes that decision as to what's going to be
Mm-hmm.
the path that you're going to travel. Because what I learned is I learned that people will hate on you for no reason at all. They don't even know you, but they hate you. They can't stand
Mm-hmm.
your guts for whatever reason. And
They
maybe
hate your
maybe somebody else
purpose.
said something about you. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
They hate
exactly.
your
They
purpose
they
because they
somebody may
see
have
it. They
said
just don't
something about
understand
you
it.
or something. Right,
Mm-hmm.
right. And that's
And then
exactly it. And
and
it's
a
it's
lot of
sad, but
times.
it's true.
And a lot of times, some people they recognize the anointing on your life. They don't understand what it is, but they
Mhm.
recognize something special about you, and so they want to give you a hard way to go. And I know that to be true because I've had that happen with me at work on a regular. I used to be like, "Why are they being so difficult with me? I ain't do none of them." I mean, and so somebody told me they said they jealous of you. I said, "For what? They make more than me." I don't get it.
Mhm.
I said they check is. I said they in the six figure. I said I ain't nowhere near
Mhm.
that. And I was like, and they was like, you just don't understand it. You don't understand. I said, okay, I understand now.
Mhm.
I think what I knew, realized it is not what my worth was at that place. It was my worth that they knew it could be, and it would be sooner or later. And
Mhm.
that's what they was intimidated by. I
Yeah.
said,
I
well,
remember the scammer told me that it was a scammer. Remember I told you all about the scammer, that person, that guy that got me for all that money and stuff. He
yeah.
told me that he said, "Yeah, I posted your book on certain pages, and some people was like trying to not accept it on their page." He said, "You got a bunch of enemies out there." And I said, "Well, I was always told that if you got enemies, then you know that you're doing something right."
Mm-hmm. That's
When you
it.
got people that don't like you, and they have no clue as to why they don't like you. They just
Mm-hmm.
don't like you because of somebody else said about you. I'm not that type of person. I'm not gonna not like you because, okay, so my friend here don't like you, so I don't like you because my friend don't like. I'm not that type of person. I'm gonna still give
Mm-hmm.
you that opportunity to be
To prove
nice
me
and
wrong.
kind to you, regard, and you prove me wrong yourself. But I'm not gonna
Mm-hmm.
allow, because of somebody else said, or a misunderstanding that I may have had with somebody else. And so because I had a misunderstanding with somebody else, you don't like me because of that. I'm not going to be that person. I'm not that person. That's not me. That's not my style. I never been
Mm-hmm.
that person. I never been a follower. I always wanted to be the leader. And so if I don't
Mm-hmm.
like you, it's because I don't like you. It's not because so and so don't like you or none of that stuff. It's because I don't like you because of something you may have done to me. For
Mm-hmm.
I don't judge people according to, well, my friend don't like you, so I don't like you either. I don't do that. But as we winding down on our time, so
Mm-hmm.
what I want to say is, thank you all for watching Inspirational Talks with Laura Simmons and Friends. Please share, like, comment, go to our YouTube channel and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and keep watching. I'm a true believer of that. Today is one person watching you, or two people watching you, or three people watching you, and maybe tomorrow it may be 500 people watching you. So I'm a true believer of that, what God is
Mm-hmm.
capable of doing. So,
Yep. He's an
yeah,
exceeding
yep,
God. That's for sure.
yep, yep. So please make sure that you share our show, Inspirational Talks with Laura Simmons and Friends. And we are going to get ready to close it out. Anything you want to say, Margaret, before we close out?
Just revisit what I said earlier concerning buying versus renting. Look at the pros and cons and make the right decision because you would rather be fighting for a home that you buying than to be fighting to stay in one that you don't.
Yep. That's very good advice. And don't forget to pick up my book. Want to get out of that fast? It is on Amazon, and you can also purchase it at on my website, which is www.motherdaughterteambooks.com. All right, and the name of the book is "Want to Get Out of Debt Fast," so that you can go and purchase that new home that you dreamed of having.
That's right. Or that vacation home.
Yep, or even take
Right
a
on the
vacation.
beach.
Or take a vacation. All right,
Mm-hmm.
guys, we're out of here. We love you. Thank you. And don't forget to share our video. All right.
Bye.